everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. Today I am doing something a little different. I'm not going to be crafting. I wanted to take a moment and speak from my heart about a situation that's been going on in my personal life for a while. Most of the time I don't talk about my personal life here on YouTube. I don't feel it's quite appropriate to do that, but today is a little different. I feel maybe my story might be able to help some of you out there, and it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but like I said, I didn't feel it was appropriate to do so. I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of editing with this video. I think it's going to be a lot of thoughts just kind of flowing from my brain out into the world, and I hope you're okay with that, as it's in a way going to be therapy for me. Some of you may have noticed that I haven't uploaded videos in a couple of weeks here on YouTube, and many of you probably already saw on my social media that my father passed away recently. He had been in bad health for a while. He had suffered a heart attack about 4 years ago and had never really quite recovered from that. He was never the same since then. And so a couple of weeks ago he passed away. Due to a large number of medical reasons and just not taking care of himself like he should have. It's hard. It's very, very hard because he and I didn't have a very good relationship. And honestly, I did not expect this to be as hard as it was for me. Being that we didn't have a good relationship, and I thought that when he did pass, because we've been anticipating this for a while, that I would be prepared for it, and unfortunately I was and I wasn't. You can prepare a lot, but by the same token it definitely took a lot. It was hard. It was definitely very hard to watch him go down, and have to take care of him, help take care of him, as he was going into that decline. But I really wanted to talk today about, the more I've talked to people, the more I'm realizing that I'm not alone. And in the way that I'm not alone is having a relative, having a mother, having a father, having a sister, having a brother that you don't have a good relationship with, and having to watch them decline and then dealing with the emotions during that decline. And the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this video is you're not alone. You are definitely not alone in that situation, which I thought I was, to be honest. I know, people say across social media, YouTube, that every situation has people who are just like you. And I know that's true up here, but, it's here that doesn't really get it. I didn't quite... It's hard. Talking to your friends, talking to your coworkers, talking to family friends, saying, that, not necessarily saying mean things, but just being, it's not even uncaring. That's not what I'm saying at all, because I just felt awkward, I guess. I felt awkward that I didn't have that relationship with my dad that a lot of people have. That I was saying things like, I wish he would pass away because I don't want him to suffer anymore, which a lot of people have told me is not horrible at all. It's, I've actually had a lot of people, it's taboo to say that we want people to pass away, and I wish that wasn't the case. I don't mean to wish people ill will. That's not what I'm saying at all. I watched my grandmother decline, her health decline, and I wanted her not to suffer anymore. I watched my grandfather, also his health decline, And there seems to be this stigma in our society about saying, you know, when I say I want them to pass away peacefully and not to suffer, most people are like, oh yeah, absolutely, but then you feel weird saying that. And sometimes people give you weird looks, or they judge you, and I wish we could get away from that stigma, because it's hard. And I feel like I'm repeating myself a million times over the same sentence or statement or thought, and I apologize, but you know, it's trying to organize all of the thoughts, and like I said, this video is kind of therapy for me. Just know that you're not alone if you feel that way, and you are perfectly okay and perfectly fine feeling the emotions that you feel, no matter what they are. There was a lot of resentment that I had for my dad. There was a lot of anger that I had for my dad, because I had a lot of people for basically all of my life tell me what a great man he was, or is at the time when he was alive, or now that he's passed, tell me that he was a great man, that he helped them in so many different ways. He helped so many people in our community, and he helped put so many people on their career paths that they're still on today. And unfortunately, he never really shared that with the family. He never... I don't know if he didn't know how. I don't know the reasoning behind why he didn't. But he just didn't. A few people saw it, but most people didn't. Most people didn't know what the family dynamic was, or how the family dynamic went. And that was a big part of why I had anger, or why I was so upset with my dad, is because he showed everybody else in the community that he cared. I got so many people at the service telling me that he talked about me and my family and told them how much he loved us and how much he cared about us, but he just wasn't able to show that with us. And that's hard. That's really, really hard. Basically being told that your dad is a superhero, but never getting the chance to see it for yourself. And so at the service, I stood up in front of everybody there, and I wasn't mean. I told the truth, but I said it in a way that was respectful, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it, basically, but I said my piece. I needed to say that. And I think that is one reason why so many people came up to me after the service and said, you know, he was a great man, and he loved y'all. He loved y'all very much. I just wish I could have seen that. And I wish he could have found a way to show us. I lost a few friends over my feelings towards my dad, and well, I guess they weren't really friends to begin with if they didn't support me in my feelings. And if you have that happening in your life, know that those people are not your friends. You need to have a reasonable, of course, aspect on relationships, but I feel that no matter what you feel, it's valid. It may be wrong, but there's a reason why you feel that way. And I tried to talk things through with my dad. I tried to work things out, and there were a couple of times when it seemed to work for a day or so, and then it would deteriorate again. So know that your feelings are your feelings, and they are valid no matter the reasoning. Obviously try to work through them if you can with that person, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And that's what I had to deal with a lot, is realizing that it was just not going to happen, especially towards the end. I had several conversations with my dad trying to figure out where he was coming from, trying to figure out anything that I could to reconcile the relationship that I had with him, to try and resurrect the relationship that I had with him, trying to get anything that I could. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. I got answers that I needed for a long time. I got answers to questions that I've had for most of my life, albeit some of the answers were not what I feel were adequate enough. They weren't good answers, they weren't good reasons, but they were his reasons, and that's something that I'm going to have to live with. And know that I did everything that I could to make it work, to make it happen, to try and reconcile, and it just never did. So always remember that you are only in control of you. That's all you have the control over. And if somebody else doesn't want to give you what they can or fix things, you try what you can do, and after that it's up to them. And that's where my dad was. It was up to him, and he just never budged. So during his decline, that was something else that I was dealing with and having to reconcile in my own heart, knowing that I did everything that I could to make things work, and it just wasn't meant to be. One of the biggest things that I've come to realize, or I don't know if that's the right terminology, but one of the things that's been brought to light over the past couple months is how good of a man my dad was. And that was something that was hard for me to see for a very long time, because I was very closed in just to myself and the relationship that he and I had. It was hard for me to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. He did a lot of good in the Dallas-Fort Worth community. He was very well known in circles here in the Dallas-Fort Worth community, in the state of Texas, even internationally. He did some very amazing things around the world that are really, really cool. And I found out stories that I didn't even know happened, because people started stepping forward and recounting their stories and his generosity. So I know my dad was a good man. I know he was good, and he helped a lot of people, and that was something that was hard to step back from and see, even though I know it's true now. It's something that I had to work on personally, and I had to stop villainizing him. Is that a word? I don't know. Because for a long time I villainized him and made him a really horrible person in my head. And now that I'm starting to talk with people and see more, I know he was a good man, and he did a lot of good. It's still hard, and that's something that I'm going to be working on for a while. My dad died too young. He was 63 years old, and I shouldn't have to be making this video with him being so young. But there were a lot of life choices that he made that ended up affecting a lot of people. And these issues, these concerns, these problems had been pointed out to him many times. Many times. And he chose to ignore them. And that's something else that's hard to deal with. Knowing that so many people tried to get through to him, to make him understand. It's hard to understand why he ignored so many people for so long. Again, that's something that is his decision, and I'm now left with those consequences. But I can't blame myself. I can't put any responsibility on myself. And that's something that I feel sometimes people do. They take the choices of others and blame themselves, put the blame on themselves, put the pressure on themselves, and you just can't. I said earlier, you can't live other people's lives. That's something you just can't do. I kind of feel like I'm talking in circles. I kind of feel like maybe this video could have been a lot shorter than it is. But the main message that I want to convey here is you are not alone. You are not alone in the situation. And if you have anger, if you have resentment, if you have so many negative feelings towards a relative, towards your parents, towards a sibling, you're not alone in that feeling. And there are many people who feel that way too. Here in America, we have this weird, and it probably goes around the world, we have this weird, I don't even know how to describe it exactly, but like the family, you don't talk bad about the family, you don't say anything negative against the family. And I'm not saying that you should bash your family. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that there are very valid feelings that people have, and society tends to shut those down and not let people express them. And this entire time I felt like I was a horrible person for feeling that way. And that I shouldn't. That I should be embracing my father even though he didn't embrace me. That I should be saying, I shouldn't be saying what I was saying about him, or my feelings about him. Again, I'm not speaking of bashing, I'm not talking about saying horrible things, I'm just saying feeling emotionally disconnected from my father. Saying something like that in society, I feel is very taboo, and something that most people would never say. And I want you to know that that's okay to feel. And a lot of family relationships are completely different, for lack of better terminology, behind closed doors. People put forth a persona that they want the world to see, but behind closed doors, those relationships are completely different. And that can be very difficult sometimes to deal with, especially when the person acts one way outside to the world, but acts a different way when actually interacting with the family. I guess you could almost say it's like feeling crazy, because people are telling you a completely different picture of that person when you see when it's hard to describe. Basically, you see one side and they see another. It feels very alienating to know that this person exists, but you don't get to see them. and you don't get to know them. Being family is hard. Being a family is very difficult, and it can really, it can be a lot to handle. But always remember to be who you are. Be who you are. Try to make the world a better place, and take it each day at a time. Remember, ultimately, you have to make you happy. And no matter how you express that, no matter how you want to make yourself happy, you have to find what makes you happy. Sometimes being happy takes work. Sometimes being happy takes a lot of work. And there are people out there who are medical professionals who can help you work through your issues, help you work through any kind of problem that you have. And I want you to remember that there are people out there who care about you. No matter where they are, they care about you. They may be across the web, they may be right next door. Most of the time they're right inside the house with you. But there are people that care about you and want you to be happy. So always remember that. I hope this video helps a little bit, and I hope this video helps at least one person realize that everything is okay and will be okay. Make sure to take time to focus on you, because that's really one of the most important things, is you. I want to thank everybody for allowing me to put this video out there. I don't normally put my personal life out there, but I felt like that this was a very important topic to talk about, and I hope it made sense to you. I wish I could have put it down in writing and then read it out on a teleprompter or something that was a little more organized, but it just needed to come out this way, and I hope everybody's okay with that. I really appreciate the love and support that I've gotten on all my social media about the situation that's been going on, and I really appreciate everybody being there for me. It has definitely helped me a lot, and I really appreciate everybody and your support. I'm really excited to start getting back to quote-unquote normalcy again, and I hope to return to my weekly video uploads, and I hope you'll join me in these uploads and enjoy the videos that I'm producing for y'all. It's definitely a labor of love, and I hope to continue it for a long time. So be on the lookout for hopefully more videos very soon as I get back to a regular pace and a regular rhythm and get some hopefully great content uploaded for y'all. So thanks again for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope it brought you a little bit of happiness today. Alright, hope everybody has a great day.